Hello, welcome back. Nigel with you, Nigel's Molding Bench, and it's the monthly roundup as per usual. So it's the 30th of April today, so tomorrow it's going to be May already, and hopefully we can get the Mustang out. I don't drive it in the winter at all. I don't drive it in the rain if I can help it. So start off as usual, massive thank you to all of you. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to all the old subscribers. Thank you to all of those who contribute to the channel through Patreon and PayPal. You guys are amazing. And as you know, at the end of the video, there will be a list of names that will go up of all those that contribute. And the last one on there, I think, will probably be Tim B, because Tim B is just literally just now. What is it now? It's about 2 o'clock on the what is it, Tuesday? Where am I today? Tuesday the 30th of April 2024, and it's about 2 o'clock. And yeah, and Tim has just contributed a very generous donation on Patreon. Thank you very much, Tim. So so there we go. So I've got a little list here, a little cheat notes, some little cheat notes to keep me going. Okay, so I also want to say a massive thank you to Charlie over in Australia. You know who you are. I'm not going to mention your surname. He sent me a Wingnut Wings kit. Well, as you know, any Wingnut Wings kit these days is worth a fortune. Beautifully packaged, beautifully sent over. And unfortunately, I got burned for customs on it. But hey, you know, I mean, this is the thing. You know, if you go and start shipping £250 kits around the world, you've got to put the correct value on them, because if you don't and it gets lost, you're in the poo. So that's unfortunately the risk. And Mal, when yours arrives in Australia, you're probably going to get stung as well, because again, I have to put the value on it for what it is, because again, if it gets lost, you want your money back, you know, and I end up losing. So that's what you have to do. But yeah, that review will be up tomorrow night with a few bits and pieces in Wingnut Wings Wednesday, which is part 6, and hopefully you'll be able to tune in for that, and that'll be on tomorrow night. Every Wednesday I'm going to do a Wingnut Wings related video, and hopefully next week we'll start with some bloody building or something I need to do, rather than just reviewing stuff. But there's so much to talk about and there's so much to look at. I also want to say a massive thanks to Ray over at Wingsock Publications. He's basically donated all those books to the channel that I've shown you, and they are very gratefully received. I've got one to show you tomorrow that I've actually bought, believe it or not. I bought it with my own money. Yep, I did buy it. So there we go. I think Ray was quite shocked that I actually sent him some money for a change instead of him sending me freebies. But thank you very much, Ray, if you're watching this. You've been an absolute gem. I've also had notification from Gas Patch. Pantelis over at Gas Patch has said that I'm going to be receiving some special 3D printed parts. So look out for that. It's all World War I related for the models that I've shown on the channel. So be very interesting. Massive thank you as well to Sven. Sven has sent me his 2 latest sets of masks and some other bits and pieces. I've already done the Airfix Stuka set. That's One Man Army. The masks for all the insignia and all the stencils and everything for the Airfix kit. Apparently it doesn't fit the Trumpeter kit because the Trumpeter kit is noticeably larger. Go figure. They're both 24 scale apparently. I'd love to know which one is correct. I'll bet it's the Airfix one. And then we've also got, coming up in the next couple of days, the mask set for the new Zucchimure FW190A4. I've got that kit, so we'll have a look at that and compare it with the decals and everything, because I think there's a lot of errors in the decal sheet that Sven's corrected in the masking sheet. So I think that's going to be a nice one to have for you. And we've also got some other bits and pieces to show you as well, which are very nice indeed. Poker is apparently the way it's pronounced, poker. So I've always said pocher, but it's poker. I have here a set of instructions which I've printed out. If you're into poker kits, or you're into Partworks like the Mustang and the Lancaster I'm doing, it's going to be a really good video for you to watch, because I'm going to give lots and lots of hints and tips from my angle on how to go around setting yourself up, what tools I think you should have, and go on from there, really. I think it's going to be a very valuable video. If anybody's gone out and bought this because they've got a spare 800 quid floating around in their pocket, I have seen them on eBay for like £600. So, but I think they tend to be in Europe. So, you know, you pay the £600, you pay the £50 postage, then you get stung for customs. You may as well just buy it straight from Airfix, really, or Hornby. At least you know you're going to get it. And if you do buy it direct from them, you know you've got after sales backup as well. I'm not trying to promote Hornby in any way, shape or form. If you see one cheaper somewhere else and you want to go for it, go for it. But I always add this up. It's the same as when you look on eBay. I was looking yesterday. What kit was I was looking at? I was looking at a kit that I've reviewed, and I was seeing how much it was today. And over here, the kit is about £65 or £70, depending where you go. Retail's about 75. Look on eBay. You can get it for 39 quid from China, and then it's £16.50 postage. So that's sort of 55 quid. And then if you do get stuck for customs, you're going to get 20% on the 55 quid, okay? And then the £8 or £13 fee, whatever Royal Mail decide to charge you. So you may as well just go and buy it for 65 quid from a shop. You know, it's not worth it sometimes. Sometimes on the bigger kits it's worth it because, you know, like you can probably get a border model Lancaster for 400 quid from China, whereas over here it costs you £600. If you do get caught from customs, it's going to be 480 quid or £490 with their fee. You're still saving £100. So, you know, when you look at the dearer stuff, it's worth it. So there we go. So yeah, there's going to be a video coming which is going to be relating to this and any part work that involves, you know, cars, bikes, aircraft, whatever, that involves large metal sections. It's going to be a very valuable video for anybody who's new to the hobby. We've got new parts coming. I've had a new delivery. In fact, this is it here. I have a new delivery here of Mustang parts for the Diego Steely Mustang. So that takes us up to part 22. So I'm going to start filming that straight away after I've done this one, hence the Ford t-shirt. And that's just going to be, there's going to be 2 videos. So we'll have parts, I think it's 19, 20, 21, and then 22, 23. I think because it's either 18 to 22 or 19 to 20 or whatever. But we'll start doing that straight away. So that'll be up in the next day or so. And the Lancaster, as you know, I'm doing the Revisited series where I'm modifying the Hachette Lancaster. And I've just done some work. I've just finished doing part 5. You've only seen up to part 3. I'm going to do some more work, get part 5 out of the way, or part 6 out of the way, and then it's plain sailing from then on. The biggest amount of work is around the pilot's seat and everything. So you're going to enjoy that if you've enjoyed it so far. I've had one person contact me so far, Stephen, asking for the resin knee pads for the bomb aimer. So I'll get one of those off to him as soon as he sends me his address. The Vomag, the kit is here. Lots of bits and pieces. I just want to show you something. I saw Jeff's video last night. I think it was his part 20 or 22 or something. And he 3D printed a stand to build the gun. Well, there you go. It's funny how great minds think alike. I've turned an aluminium stand to hold the gun. Because as you can see, we've got these little tiny footrests and stuff down here. And they're just going to get broken off. So I made this little aluminium stand. It's quite weighty so it doesn't get knocked over. But it's a beautiful, beautiful model. But it's a swine to put together. I've had some comments about whining and everything, and I've said, well, you know, it depends how you define whining or letting you guys know what I think is wrong with it. So, you know, someone else reckoned they could build it in 2.5 hours. Like, yeah, okay, carry on then. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful model once built. It's just the journey to get there is not that much fun. It's driven me around the bloody bend, and I think you can hear from the tone in Jeff's voice. Jeff isn't as outspoken as me. He's more of a gentleman. But yeah, I think you can hear from the tone in his voice that it's, you know, it's a struggle, but it's worth it. I think it's a lot of people have said I was going to get that kit and I'm not going to bother now, and I've always replied I think you should, because you've got Jeff and I to help guide you through, you know, where bits go and everything, because literally in the instructions you've got like a piece and an arrow, and it's like, where's that going? You know, there's some parts you just got to guess. And Jeff sent me a manual that a friend sent him, And there's a lot of images in there that are really helpful as well to show where things go. So yeah, something I did pick up on right near the end, I think you see in part 13, is they've kind of gone half and half with the gun. You've got moving parts so you can swivel the gun, but the actual cylinders that counterbalance the gun have to be glued in place. There's no way of mounting them without drilling and pinning and all that. And to be honest, life's too short. I've had enough. And also you've got the mechanism that swivels. When the gun goes up, you've got a guide that goes down that shows the operator the angle of the barrel, and that works on a cantilever that pulls through a rod on the gun sight where the guy's looking through. So they tell you to glue the first bit in place, and then they tell you to glue the second bit in place, and if you don't get it right, that rod's not going to attach. So I've picked up in that and taken that bit back off, and then we'll have it so I can adjust it. I want my gun literally, practically vertical, sort of, 75 degrees or something, and all the legs out of that. That's how I want to do it. Anyway, enough about that. But yeah, we also need to think about making some sort of cover for the windscreen, because I'm sure that when they used the gun, they would have covered the windscreen up, because otherwise the shot would have because they've got the armoured cover on the bloody engine to stop the bonnet getting damaged. So surely they must have had covers over the windscreen. I can't believe Dasford didn't make something to go over there, but I'm sure we'll come up with something. So there we are. The A20 I need to get back on the bench. It's sat there. As you know, my mojo got hit to 6. Various reasons. Life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? I was thinking this morning, a lot of guys have got their wives around them and that, and the wife takes the dog for a walk, the wife changes the bed, the wife pushes the vacuum round, the wife goes shopping, and now and again the bloke does something or joins in or whatever. I do everything here. I do my vacuuming, I do the washing, I do the shopping, I change the bed, I do everything, take Jess out and everything. Jess is still going strong. She is going downhill. I think the end is nigh, but I've been saying that for about the last 3 months. Yeah, but she's happy as Larry. She's struggling to wee, but it's not bothering her. She's not cleaning herself or whining or crying, and she's still running around playing ball and everything. But it's my birthday soon. I just hope she doesn't choose that's the day, because that would be a bummer. But anyway, if it's the day, that's the way. And I also have promised you in one of my videos I'm going to get the Border Model Lancaster back on the bench, because I've got some stuff now to show you to go on it, and it's gorgeous. So we'll get that on the bench, and we're going to get that finished. I promise we're going to get that finished, and the A20 as well. The B17s. You're probably wondering where the B17s have gone. In my last video, you saw me, well, last couple of videos, I've talked about guns for the 48 scale B17. Now, the kit guns aren't very nice at all. Okay? And the way they're made, you have to fit the gun into the fuselage before you put the fuselage halves together. Now, what you can do, as suggested by someone, is just lightly glue the nose on when you paint, take the nose off and fit the guns on the inside. I would rather have the guns in with all the belts and that connected to them, and then fit the barrels afterwards. I don't want to fit the guns and have the barrels sticking out. That's just crazy. So I bought the Edward guns. Now, the Edward guns are all resin. They're all one piece. So again, you've got to have the barrel sticking out while you're building it, or you put the guns in afterwards, which means then you can't put the belts on. And they've got the balls halfway down the barrels, which is, I don't know where they got that from. I really don't. So I had to go, as you know, I made some molds, and I've had to go at making my own, and I have made a couple, but it's not really very successful. And then they need to be drilled out, and I think the ball's just going to snap off when I drill them out. So I have approached Gasbatch and asked them, because they do a huge range of 50 cals in 32nd scale, why don't they do some guns for the noses of B17s with the ball on, and then with the separate resin barrel, or you can have the option to buy just the breech with a 1mm hole in it, so you can use the master barrels. But I should imagine they won't go down that route. But that's what I've asked them to do, and I think that's what they're going to do. So I'm just going to hang fire just until I hear back, just for a couple of weeks. And if we don't hear anything back, then I will use my resin guns. Now, I know a lot of you like to get my resin parts. That is not going to be something I'm going to be doing, because they are a complete and utter bastard to make. They're so small and they've got so much detail on them. You mold them, yeah, and you, even if you get a full pour, without air bubbles in it, because it's so small, when you pull them out, they rip the mold to pieces, because they've got so many little sharp features on them. I don't know how Edward do them, but it's something like that is far better off being 3D printed, which is what Gas Patch do. So hopefully that's what they're going to do, fingers crossed. Failing that, I'll come up with some system of buying some balls on Amazon, some beads that for making jewellery and stuff, and try and glue them on somehow. But the whole objective is to get the breeches of the guns inside the fuselage, finish the model, paint it, weather it, decals everything, and then just slot the barrels in afterwards. Because we've got all those guns, we've got the guns coming out of the nose, we've got the guns coming out of the sides. We've also got the gun on the back, I think, is on a ball as well, the radio operator's gun. So there's lots there to do, and with the new Edward B17 coming out, they're no doubt going to put their resin guns in it, which they're good. So, well, they're bloody lovely, but they're not very accurate with the balls halfway down the barrel. It means you end up with like a tiny bit of barrel sticking out the fuselage. It looks daft. I don't know why they've done it. I really don't. Where they've got the reference from, I do not know. Maybe they'll change it, because I have told them. So yeah, so that's that. What have we got coming up? Well, obviously we've got my Vomag is nearly finished. Okay, it's just a case now of painting underneath, getting the body and the chassis together, and then fitting the greeblies, like the lights and bits like that, and then just get it all painted grey. I've done the woodwork for the seats and everything that I need to do. The gun is completely built, so we're ready to go on that one. So that should be finished in the next week, 10 days. So we can look forward to getting that off the bench. That'll be one finished this year anyway. Obviously I'm going to be starting on the poster, because Hornby Hobby sent me that, and I need to do like a video every week or something. I'll do an hour a week or something on it, and we'll go from there. And as I say, we've got the Lancaster and the Mustang. I will get the border model Lancaster back on the bench. I will get the A20 back on the bench, and I've also been doing a bit of work on Scharnhorst as well. So there we are. So I think that's pretty much that. The last thing I wanted to say is some bad news. I think, well, I've mentioned a few times now that the lovely Wendy Hixon, who was very much in all of our live streams, in can't think what you call them now. I can't think what you call them when you do a premiere. That's the word I was looking for. So it's hit me for six, this, because I've never met Wendy. I couldn't tell you how old she was. I couldn't tell you how tall she was. I couldn't even tell you what colour hair she had. But we communicated via email. She was forever asking me how Jess was. I know she had her cat Poppy, and she was always telling me about Poppy. She would send me gifts. I would send her gifts. We would send each other cards, stuff like that. And we were just like the old school pen pals, I guess. And she even told me back beginning of this year, you know, don't go ordering the Bristol Bulldog. I've got one on pre-order for you. That's how generous she was. She sent me the Gannet. She sent me the Border Nose. She sent me the Hundley Submarine. She sent me that little RQ3, that little helicopter drone thing. She sent me a wet palette. She sent me a load of sanding sticks. She just sent me oodles and oodles of stuff. She is very, very generous. I gave her the Spitfire. I built the 124th. I gave her that model as a gift, which she was very, very appreciative of. The last I heard from Wendy was in February, on February the 19th this year. I had an email to say she hadn't, you know, she'd had a fall and had been in hospital, and that's why no one had heard from her. So, you know, a couple of emails went backwards and forwards, and then it all went quiet again. So I emailed her again, and I had no reply, and that was probably around about the 25th to the 30th, or 25th to the 28th of February. Heard nothing, had no reply. She was always regular as clockwork with her monthly donations to the channel, contributions, whatever, and that stopped. So I tried to phone the police in her local area to see if I could find any information out, any whereabouts or whatever. The phone rang and rang and rang and rang for about 20 minutes, and no one picked it up. So great, thanks for that. So I went onto their website, and they have a chat where you can go down, you know, the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and you can do a chat. And I put in there, you know, my name is this, I live here, this is my phone number, I am concerned about Miss Wendy Hixon of this address, blah blah blah. Unfortunately I didn't have a phone number. You know, she seems to have disappeared, can you give me any information? So it said, you are number 1 in the queue. And that message sat there for about 20 minutes, and then it said, message is timed out, please rewrite. I'm thinking, our police service is doing a wonderful job, aren't they? No one's answering the phone, no one's manning the live chat, and when you email them, they don't respond, because I've emailed them and they don't respond. So I've had absolutely nothing. So, wrote a letter to the neighbours with a stamped address envelope, just to say, what do you know? Do you know anything? Nothing. They didn't reply. Thank you. I had a close friend, trustworthy, very close friend, go to the house and have a look to see, you know, if there was any signs of life there or anything. And unfortunately, the house, the front door was shut. Obviously, curtains were closed, and the door had tape on it with signatures, and it wasn't police, so it's not a crime scene. But we can only assume the worst. Either Wendy is long-term hospital, or worse than that. So I'm afraid it's very sad news either way. Hopefully it's the former, not the latter. If you could ever hope for somebody to be in hospital, and this is the time. Hopefully it's not the latter. But yeah, it's. I also got in touch with because I know you're all going to send me suggestions about what I can do. I got in touch with the registry thing, office, whatever it's called, and they said I can apply for a death certificate, and if there has not been a death, then I will get a refund. So I thought, that's pretty cool. That'll be a good way to find out, because if I do, I've got to pay for it. It doesn't matter, it's a few quid. But if they refund it, we know there's no recorded death under that name. And if they don't refund it, then at least we know. Because I know a lot of people in this community love Wendy Hixon. Lots and lots of people. And there's a lot of people going to be wondering where she's gone. We've lost a lot of very, you know, big users of the community, if you like. People who often appeared on live stream. We've lost a few of them in the last few months. A couple that I wasn't even aware of. So I had a look on that, and I went to fill the form out, and I had to know the date of birth, which I don't know. I had to know the cause of death. I don't even know if there has been a cause of death, and I'm certainly hoping there hasn't been. And I had to know the location of the death, which I obviously don't know either, because I don't even know if there has been. So it was pointless trying to fill that out. So every channel I've gone down has come back with nothing. So, as I say, I phoned the police, rang, messaged the police on their messaging thing, just cut me out, emailed the police, no response, nothing, and I've gone to the registry service, nothing. And of course, the other thing we have to remember, guys, this is YouTube. Every bit of communication I've ever had with Wendy, other than email, and everyone else, is via YouTube. And Wendy Hixon may not even be her name. Wendy Hixon may be a YouTube name. Her name might be Sandra James. Wendy might not even be a woman. You know, we just don't know, and this is the problem. I don't know enough about Wendy to find out anything about her whereabouts, and unfortunately, it's not looking good. It's, you know, the tape on the doors is not a good sign. So I've spoken to a friend who has some experience in these things, and basically they said that it either means that, unfortunately, the occupant of the property has deceased, and it's now going to be up to the insurance or whatever people to come and, you know, assess the property, and they want to make sure that no one's going in there. Or the person has suffered a major fall or a major incident that means they won't be going back to that address, and they need to make sure it stays sealed so that the family or, you know, whatever can go, you know, just to make sure the place is safe. I remember when my father passed away, God rest his soul, I was in California, his house was sealed as well, exactly the same, so that no one could go in, and the only time I could go in was with a representative that could officially break the seal and then replace it. And that's why they do it. So if somebody, you know, if like a care worker comes along, say Wendy had a regular care worker at the end of every month just to come and check her blood pressure or something, they know not to go in. So that's why the seals are there. So anyway, sorry to end on a sad note, but if any of you have got any information, then please let me know. Please don't ask me for any information about Wendy, because I'm not going to give it out to anyone, because it's not fair, it's not right, you know, and I don't know what to say really. I'm gutted, absolutely gutted, but I guess it's inevitable. It's the one thing that's guaranteed in life, isn't it? Is that it ends. So, but I'd just like to know, that's all. I'd like to be able to tell you guys. I'd like you guys to know, because I know a lot of you really, really loved and respected Wendy, and thought the world of her. So watch this space. If I find anything out, if I miraculously get an email, then, you know, I will let you know. I'll do a video as soon as I get the email, but at the moment it's just all up in the air. So it's really unfortunate that we don't have anyone that can just say, I'm afraid, sir, the person who lived at that address, all they have to say is the person that lives at that address is deceased, or is not going to be returning to that address as due to their illness. They don't have to give me any information. They don't have to tell me anything, you know. And I was a bit annoyed that the neighbours didn't respond either. I thought that was a bit, you know, just in case they knew anything. But and you might be thinking, oh, maybe they're just trying to find out. But that was like 10 days ago now. They were sent that. So anyway, that's really that. So as I say, to finish, to try and get things a bit more positive, keep your eyes peeled for. It's not a poker video. It's a, you know, if you're building metal kits video, Partworks and that sort of thing, and you know how to sort of, or how I'm going to set myself up for it, how I've already set myself up for the Partworks and everything, and also keep an eye out for the Border Models Lancaster video, because you'll love that. And there's a product I'm going to show you that I think you'll be mad for, especially if you've got a Border Model Lancaster, even the nose. So anyway, I will see you all soon. Thank you for watching. In a minute you'll see a list of names going Star Wars style, and that's all the names of the contributors. And out of respect, although Wendy hasn't made any donations for a long time, I'm going to leave her name there out of respect, because I want to. So I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.